Guys, I just wanted to talk about the latest marketing release video from 704 Games with the split screen co-op. And I also wanted to touch on a few other things like uh, some old stuff, but it still persists within the gaming community. And I'm talking about these people that try to shut down people like myself who complain or criticize these video games. And I've talked about this before many times. I even made a video almost a year ago. It was called uh, criticism, constructive criticism versus haters, something like that. If you guys are interested, you could check that video out. I did that video almost a year ago, and it's about this same subject of these people who constantly defend these companies and developers and the products they make. And they try to shut down people like me and other people who do videos that criticize these products. And I just don't get it. I'll never understand why you feel the need to defend these companies so vigorously. And you're trying to tell people not to complain. I'll never understand that. If you don't like criticism and you don't want to hear the complaints and they bother you so much, why do you watch these videos? Don't watch them. Go play the game. If you think the game is so fucking amazing, go play the game. How does somebody's criticism of the game affect your game experience? It doesn't. You have NASCAR Heat Evolution? Play it. Nothing I say or anyone else says is going to change that game. So if you enjoy it so much, why the fuck are you here? Why do you watch these videos? You know what they're about. You know it's talking about the game, and a lot of it is going to be criticism because it's deserved. Are you being paid by these companies to come in and do that? I don't think so. I'll never understand that. You only see that bullshit in the gaming community. Any other in any other place in the business world, this is how business works. Somebody makes a product, people buy that product. And guess what? If that product has problems, people are going to complain. And companies understand that. They take the criticism, right? Constructive criticism, and they do what they can to fix those problems and to give people what they want and what they're asking for. And what a lot of you guys keep doing is, oh, I'm sick of hearing complaints. Don't buy the game. Go play iRacing. Bullshit arguments. Juvenile arguments. I don't mind if you're going to tell me I'm wrong about something, then do it constructively. Explain to me why I'm wrong. Give me facts. Don't tell me, oh, this is a small company. They don't have the resources. I've been hearing this shit since 2011. Every fucking year, you get another product, a NASCAR game, that is lacking in so many areas and has so many problems, and yet every fucking year you get the same group of people complaining about people complaining. You're either part of the problem or the solution, and you people are part of the fucking problem. You're telling these companies over and over, it's okay what you're doing. I'm going to make excuses for you and tell everyone, remind them how hard it is to develop video games and how you don't have the resources. I'll never understand that. Now let's have a gentleman's agreement, okay? If you don't want to hear people criticize the game or complain, don't watch my fucking videos, okay? I don't need it. I've never once asked anybody, please like and subscribe. This isn't what I do for a living. I have a full-time job with a very hectic work schedule. I make these videos because there's a purpose. I'm trying to help get us a better product. And you guys are fighting that. I'll never understand that. This mentality in America especially, where people defend corporations and companies. What are you afraid of? You think they're going to just say, oh, everybody's complaining, let's pack up everything and stop making games. They make these fucking games because it's a business. They see money in it, right? So they need to appease their consumer base. Now, if everybody was like you guys, we would never get a decent product. And for those of you who think it's a waste of time, I see that too. Like, oh, it's a waste of time. These guys are never gonna get it done. It's never gonna happen. Go play iRacing. Well, I don't believe that. I know for a fact that this does work. It doesn't always work in a timely fashion, the way you might want it, but you have to be persistent. And eventually, you do get change. You do get improvements. But you got to be on these people consistently. And that's what I've been doing for years. So, even though Technics never fucking really did anything, these guys are listening. And how do we know? They fucking told us directly more than once. And they've admitted last year's game was bare bones. And this year we made sure we added more to the career mode and made it deeper and more immersive. And we added more content. And they announced trucks and Xfinity. Why do you think we got that stuff? Because people kept complaining about it. You should be fucking grateful to people like me and these other people who do these videos, because we're fighting the good fight. We're fighting for you so that you can get a better game next year and the year after that. But you're fighting us and you're telling us, I'm tired of complaints. I made this fucking video almost a year ago before Evolution came out, and it was the same shit. Go watch it. Okay, I think it's called constructive criticism versus hating or haters, something like that. But just watch it just for the purpose to see if I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just so you see that I'm not just some guy talking shit. I know what I'm talking about. And everything I said in that video and in other videos going back to Technics, same fucking shit. Every year it's the same group of people who come out and try to shut down criticism. Fuck you, man. Go play your fucking game. Nothing I say is going to change Heat Evolution. Right? That game is out. You got it. Go play it. Don't watch my videos, man. I'm serious. Gentleman's agreement. Alright? But if you think you're going to stop me from trying to get a better product and to delivering constructive criticism, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not going to stop. So you're wasting your time if you think you're going to shut me down. And I do believe that it makes a difference. And all this stuff they announced that I'm excited about still, it's because of people like me, like What If Racing and Real Radman and all these other guys who make videos. And we're constructive with our criticism. We don't just come out and say, oh, you guys suck, and this game sucks, and it's always going to suck. We're very constructive. We go through all the problems, and we explain what's wrong with the game and what needs to be done to fix that. That message isn't always going to get through, but sometimes it does. And if you're not persistent, it's never going to happen. So that's why I always thank those of you who do support what I'm doing and do forward my videos and stuff like that. I really appreciate that, and it's because of people like you that we're getting stuff like trucks, Xfinity, extra tracks. They said that the career mode is going to be deeper. And statistics. You know, not for nothing. Who has been more louder and more persistent about statistics than me? Nobody. I've been beating the shit out of that subject all the way for years. Technics never listened. But guess what? 704 games, they listened. Now, I don't know if they got this message directly from me, but it's a fucking coincidence because I've been beating this drum to death. And finally, they announced it. They said, yeah, we're going to have statistics and statistics online, offline, career mode. So I'm still interested to see how it works out, right? Hopefully it's really comprehensive and deep and you get really, you know, it's really well done. Not just a lanyard card like in previous games where you just see for each individual track, and it's stupid shit. But the stats, it's gonna. I promise you, if they did if they did it right, I promise you guys, you're gonna say this game is so much better because of stats. It added something to the game. It kept me more interested in playing this game for longer periods of time. I feel like I'm actually building a career. And without stats, you don't have that. So they added it. They've announced it. Why? Because of people like me who complain and criticize constructively and tell them, you need to do this. This is crazy that you haven't done it. And 90% of the stuff that I suggest is old shit that's been done. It's not innovative or fucking groundbreaking stuff. Some of it is, but most of it isn't. And you people still defend these fucking companies and make excuses for them. They're such a small company with little resources. Well, guess what? If you really are a small company and your resources are stretched thin, why do you also focus on mobile games? So if you can excuse them and give them those excuses and that reasoning, then you got to explain to everybody why they're also doing mobile gaming, because it doesn't make sense. And how much resources does it take really to add stats? Something that's a major part of every game and always has been throughout history of video games. So if you're not here to add something to the conversation, even if you don't agree with me, I've always said that. I don't mind. But be constructive about it. Explain to me why I'm wrong and provide facts. Telling me these companies are too small with no resources, that's not an excuse. And those aren't facts. Okay? Those are excuses, and those are lame excuses. So if you don't like complaints, don't watch my videos anymore. I get nothing out of it. I don't make money from these videos. So don't watch them. Go play the game. You know what my videos are about. So that's it. That's my little rant. And seriously, that's just a gentleman's agreement that I'd like us to come to. If you don't like complaints and you don't like what I got to say, don't watch the videos. Seriously. I can't tell you not to watch other people's content because those guys I can't speak for them. But for me, I could care less. Don't watch. If you don't like complaints, don't watch. But don't fucking tell me you're tired of complaints and that I should stop complaining and go play iRacing. By the way, which I've said before, is apples and oranges. Okay? iRacing is nothing like a NASCAR game. iRacing is a service, and it's costly. Now, I do have plans on joining iRacing at some point. I just ordered a custom-made PC for gaming, so I'm gonna get into it. But I think I'm gonna do like a 3-month trial, because honestly, I've done a lot of research on iRacing, and the more I find out, I don't know if it's for me, to be honest. Strictly. Like I said before, there's no offline career mode or anything like that. Everybody knows that. But, there's so many rules, regulations. You can't just jump in. It's not plug and play and just fucking race. Yeah, you can to an extent. But then the leagues, they're set by schedules. I have a very hectic work schedule. And that's the beauty of consoles. The plug and play nature where you just play games when you feel like it. So there's a lot. It's a big, big learning curve. Okay? Also, there's no automatic. Yeah, I know that sounds fucking lame, but I'm used to driving automatic. So I gotta learn to drive standard. Well, you could use paddle shifting and stuff, but it takes some getting used to. I consider myself average to slightly above average driver. I'm not telling you I'm the greatest driver. So I gotta be honest with you, it's a little intimidating. Just from the outside looking in, as I'm finding out more about it. When you join, you only get a handful of cars and tracks. You still have to pay extra. You got to buy cars and tracks. So if you join the oval racing in order to get into NASCAR, which is what I want to do, it's gonna, it's not just that initial subscription. You have to buy extra stuff. There's a lot involved. And there is something else. Maybe some of you guys who are in iRacing could answer this question for me. Is there a way to configure like the pit adjustments and all that to the wheels? Or do you have to use a keyboard? Because that's really something I'm really intimidated with, because I'm not used to PC gaming, and there's a lot involved with setting up these games, and if it's too difficult, I don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'm gonna try it, but iRacing has nothing to do with a full-fledged NASCAR game like on these consoles and PC with NASCAR Heat Evolution and Heat 2 and whatever comes in the future, because I still want offline career mode. As I've said before, I want that experience as well. I do enjoy racing AI as well. So I know some of you find that lame. It's only, racing real people's always the best. Well, not always, in my opinion. I haven't been able to enjoy online multiplayer because of that, because it's just it's a wreck fest everywhere you go. And I've raced with people in leagues, and it starts out nice, but as soon as something happens, everybody fucking leaves the league. It's a mess. So I've joined like 5 or 6 different leagues, and I've never made it past the 3rd week of any league before everybody quit. They rage quit, and then they go start their own league, and it's a fucking mess. So that's why I enjoy offline. And these games are always going to need that offline content, because I don't want to rely on people online for my enjoyment. So, that being said, let's just talk about the game now. The last video that was released was, I believe, a co-op split screen mode with somebody at IGN, I believe. And this is what I'm going to say about it, and this also goes back to the last video I made. And again, people took some of what I said the wrong way. When I said that the split screen co-op was outdated, it is outdated. But I also said I was happy for you guys who got it. I clearly said that. I really am happy. Some of you guys wanted it, and now you have it. And from what it, judging by the video, it seems to run perfect. It runs just as good as it, like with single player. Split screen, I see no difference as far as frame rates or technical issues. They did a good job. It looks like it works perfectly as intended. That being said, it's outdated. Outdated means it's not even. Let me go back real quick. There's a reason you don't see split screen co-op in racing games anymore. Now, maybe I don't play every game. I'm sure there might be another game that still does that. But for the most part, we've moved on. Split screen co-op was a big deal years ago. It's not a big deal anymore because everyone has internet. And when I say everyone, of course, I'm sure 1 or 2 of you may chime in. I don't have internet. Screw you. I'm going to use split screen co-op. Listen, I'm not addressing every single person, but when I speak in general terms, that's the way to talk about this, because at the end of the day, I believe, and I could be wrong, only a handful of people are going to use this split screen co-op. This idea of playing with your friend on your couch, they're making a big deal out of this, and I don't understand, because I've only seen maybe once or twice through the years of people that have openly come out and just complained about it. Like, I want split screen co-op. Where's my split screen co-op? I've only seen that once, twice, maybe 3 times. So I don't see it as something that's high priority. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done. Well, it's done. So I'm happy for you guys. But if these guys, they have limited resources, Wouldn't it be best if they put those resources to other things to make sure that the entire game is better rounded, that the things that need to be fixed and addressed are fixed and addressed? How about maybe getting us that paint booth? So we don't have a paint booth, but they gave us a split screen co-op. Let's be honest. Now, just because you might use the split screen co-op, you have to step beyond yourself and ask yourself how many people are doing this. Just because I'm using it, yeah, that's great. But I don't think a lot of people are going to be using it. And I do think it's outdated. There's a reason we've moved on from that. Everything now is geared towards online multiplayer. Everyone has internet. Just almost everyone. So where's the use for split screen co-op? This scenario where you're sitting there with a friend on a couch, and also, by the way, although it works perfectly fine, it looks distracting. I seriously could not sit there and let's say a 25% race with somebody next to me and that split screen. There's too much going on one screen. I find it really distracting. That's just me. So I'm not going to use it. None of my friends are gamers. Okay? And if they were, we'd be playing online in multiplayer. So honestly, that's my thoughts on it. It works great, and I'm happy for you guys that are looking forward to it and do want to use it. But that doesn't change my opinion that this is outdated. There's a reason you don't see this shit in racing games anymore. We've moved on from that. There was a time where not everyone had internet, and the online multiplayer in most games didn't work as smoothly as it does now. So you needed that. You don't really need that anymore. That's outdated. So I'm sorry. If you guys are going to get mad about that, I think it's outdated. I do think there are much more important things to address in the game than just a split screen co-op. I'm done with that. It looks good and it works. Now, my last thing that I want to say about that footage that was released, once again, we're seeing the same marketing issues. They continue to put this show this game in the easy mode, easy setting, no simulation, and it looks like a toy. And you keep showcasing this game like you don't take it as a serious racer for hardcore guys. And it's kind of becoming more and more evident because they make comments that raise red flags. Comments like, last year's game was too difficult. I think they were referring to career mode. If anything, it was too easy. Hopefully, with the implementation of trucks and Xfinity, the career mode spreads out a little better. But when you put that side by side with what they're saying, they're telling you that last year's game they felt might be too hard. I don't like that. That's a red flag. I'm not complaining. I'm not making predictions yet. I haven't made a prediction yet, which I will do, but we don't have enough info yet. I still want to see the trucks, Xfinity. I want to see stats. I want them to show how the stats are going to look. Some of the layout of the career mode. I'm interested to see some of the stuff in career mode, the presentation. How does practice tie in with everything else? I'm hoping they really got into it because they've admitted that was lacking. And, just like I said earlier in this video, you people keep telling us not to complain. Well, thanks to us who complain about this stuff, we're getting all this. They said we're going to get a deeper, more immersive career mode. We're going to get Xfinity and trucks and extra tracks. And they fleshed out the career mode more. And there's stats. That is all because of people like me and these other guys who do videos. And you should be grateful that there are people doing this, because this is where they get the message. And they've admitted it. When they tell you things like, we've heard, we know that last year's game was bare bones and stuff like that. This is coming from the community. So if people didn't complain, they wouldn't have done this stuff. So it does work. Complaining works. It doesn't always work on your timetable, but you can't let that dissuade you from trying. And that's why I haven't given up. And I am still somewhat excited, and I want to see the stats. I want to see all this other stuff they talked about. So far, all they've done is show us some split screen co-op. They need to show us more about what makes this game better than last year's. Show us all this new stuff, okay? And that's what bothers me about the marketing. It's just, I still think they're misfiring. And it just, show this game on a higher difficulty. NASCAR is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The best enjoyment you get out of racing is fighting for one spot, lap after lap, and making gains, small gains, and losing, falling back by, a little bit, make a mistake and you lose some time. That's what racing is. That's where the excitement is. It's not exciting to watch people play this on easy and blow by 10 cars in 2 laps. And it makes the game look like a toy. It makes the physics look horrible. You can't tell what the physics are like by watching a video, but it looks worse when you see everything set on easy. There's no crash model, no damage model, I should say. You see these cars go sideways and then straighten out every time in a cloud of smoke, and they never spin out. Put this on the difficulty, higher difficulty. Put it on simulation. You have to start marketing this game towards more hardcore fans, and it just seems like they're dead set on going after casual gamers. Casual gamers aren't going to look at that either and want to play it if it looks too easy. They want a challenge too. So I don't know. To me, they're still failing big time in the marketing. That doesn't mean the game's going to be bad, but the way they're marketing it is still a problem. Even if you got to find someone out of your own group who knows how to race this game well, put it on a higher difficulty. Show us what it's like to race and fight for that position lap after lap. Stop showing us these videos with these... I don't know. I think I've made my point. As usual, my videos go longer than intended, but this is why I do it, because I feel like I really have to try to explain everything I'm talking about so that people don't take it the wrong way like they did with the split screen co-op. So hopefully you guys, you get it. I am happy for you. I'm glad you got your split screen co-op, but it is outdated. And I don't think that a lot of people are going to be using that. You got to focus on the meat and potatoes of this game, which is the offline career mode. And the online, the announcement they made, which is I'm also excited about, is this the implementation of being able to add AI to online races. I think that's going to be huge. I've asked for this before in the past. I've talked about it, that I'd love to see that. So you can fill a field with AI, and then if you only get 2 or 3 people in a race, you still have a full field, and it creates a buffer. So you don't have a bunch of people online crashing and trying to wreck you and just doing these quick sprints. Now you can run maybe a longer race, and you got stats, and you have a full field with AI cars, and in between there, you're racing real people online. So you're still competing with them, but at the same time, you got a full field. It's a lot. It should provide a much better overall NASCAR experience. And that's what I want. So I am still excited about those things, but I need to see it before I can judge that. And I do realize another thing, you guys keep reminding everyone how it's still in the beta stage. There's still 2 months to go. Let me tell you something. 2 months is not a long time. 2 months from now, they're going to release that game, and I'm telling you now, if you see something now that's a huge red flag, doesn't look good. Because if it took them this long to get this much done, and you still see issues, you really think that in 2 months from now they're going to just fix all that? This is why people have reservations. Plus, we've been getting burned year after year. So this is why people do have the right to criticize based on what they're seeing now. Because there's a reason they're releasing this footage now, because they want to get you excited. Well, guess what? If you're releasing footage and the marketing strategy is just bad, then people are going to get a bad reaction to it. What was everybody mentioning? Oh, look, the game still sounds like crap. I said it too in the last video. I'm like, I can't believe the cars still sound like crap. But guess what happened? As soon as people started complaining about that, Sean Wilson from 704 Games went right on Twitter and told everyone this is not the way the game's going to sound upon release. So they're not finished with the sound. Is that bullshit? Or are they scrambling now to fix that? Does it really matter? The point is they're addressing it, and he came out and told everyone that's not going to be the final sound. So that's good news. And guess why that happened? Because people complained. So for those of you people who keep telling people don't complain, they keep proving to you that constructive criticism works. It doesn't work as quick as we want it to, but you have to be persistent. You can't give up. That's why I haven't given up. And I'm going to keep trying. And if you don't like criticism, don't watch my videos. Okay? Not being a dick, just hey man, let's have a gentleman's agreement. Just don't watch my videos if you don't like criticism. Okay? And I see improvements. Just the announcements they made to the additions to the game, that alone came from somewhere. And it came from people criticizing, complaining, and demanding better and demanding certain things. So I don't know about this split screen co-op. I don't know how many people really were demanding that, but they make it sound like everybody wanted it. I'm going to leave it at that. They put it in the game. It looks good. It looks like it works. I'm not going to use it. I'm happy for those of you who are. That's all I got to say. So what do you think of that last video that was shown? And let's see what happens. Hopefully they release some more information, show us what makes this game different from last year's, and hopefully give us more reason to be excited about the game and not criticize. So what do you guys think? I look forward to the comments.